Hi, welcome to my video on the introduction to surface area of geometric solids. In the previous videos, we went over the perimeter of geometric figures. We went over the area of geometric figures. Now we're going to use those to our advantage. Let's look at the surface area. Surface area is the sum of all areas of all shapes that make up the surface of a solid. Surface area consists of base areas, which I'm going to call big B, and the lateral areas, which I'm going to call LA. Base areas, big B, are the sum of the areas of the bases. Lateral areas, LA, are the sum of the areas of the other faces. Let's look at some examples just as to help you understand what a surface area is. A rectangular prism. Rectangular prism is sometimes called a solid, or it's called a box. Rectangular prism, rectangular solid, or just the word box. Right here I have a box with all the vertices labeled, and it's three-dimensional, as you can see by the dotted lines. The bases are the bottom, which is DCEH, DCEH, and the top is ABFG, ABFG. And the lateral faces, lateral meaning sides, the lateral faces are, the front is ABCD, ABCD. The back is GFEH, GFEH. And the side is BFEC, BFEC. And the other side is AGHD, AGHD. That's the four sides of the box. The bottom of the box, the top of the box, and because it's a rectangular box, the bottom is the same area as the top, and this side right here is the same as this side over right here, and the front is the same area as the back. And we label the length, the width, and the height, and the height of the box is the same. So FE, BC, AD, and GH are all the heights. And the length is DC, length is AB, length is GF, and the length is HE. They're all the same lengths. And the width of the box is CE, is the same as BF, the same as AG, and the same as DH. So you can see that we have all the same heights, all the same widths, etc. Now let's look at the area of each of these. The area of the bottom is a length times the width. The area of the top, because it's the same dimensions, is length and width. The lateral areas, well, let's look at whatever side you want to look at. Let's look at the front of the box. The front of the box is the length by the height. And so that means the back side of the box on the back is the same dimensions, the length and the height. Because it's a rectangle, we're multiplying by length and width of a rectangle. They're rectangles, so they're length and width. So this side here is W times H, length times width. And this side here is the same thing. It's a height and a width, so it's a WH. So the surface area of this rectangular prism or box is the base area plus the lateral areas. The base area has two of the same, so that's 2LW, or if you want to add these together, add like terms, it's 1 and 1 that gives you 2. And the lateral areas are, there's two of these, so it's 2LH, and there's 2 WHs. So that's the formula for the surface area of a rectangular prism, a box, or whatever the books or teachers want to call it. So let's look at another geometric figure. Just then we looked at the rectangular prism. Now let's look at the triangular prism. The triangular prism has the basis as triangle ABC. And it also has the other end as triangle is FED. And these two triangles are equal. And notice that this triangle has a perpendicular from the vertex to the base, so that's the height. And the height of this triangle is the same. And in geometry, if an angle is marked as A, then a small letter across from it signifies the length. If that's angle B right here, then this is B for the length of the side. If that's angle C right here, then this is side C. So these are capital letters for vertices, small letters for the lengths. And so let's look at the lateral faces. The lateral faces of a triangular prism are 3 rectangles. So what happens? We need to look at the length. So CD is equal to BE is equal to AF. So that length right there, that's an L. So these lengths CD, BE, and AF are all equal. So the lengths, the equal edges belonging to the lateral faces are CD and BE and AF. Also, in relation to the bases, AB is going to be equal to EF, BC is going to be equal to ED, and AC is going to be equal to FE, because the 2 triangles are going to be equal. But I'm talking about the lateral faces. So the lateral faces, let's look at the equal edges. So let's look at this side, BEDC. B, let's make it a B, E, D, C. And let's look at the bottom of the tent, ACDF, ACDF, the bottom of the tent. If you call it, I call the triangular prism a tent that you set up if you're camping. And the other side is AFEB, AFEB. Make that a B. So these are 3 rectangles. Now let's look at the areas of each of these. The area of the triangle ABC is a half base times height. The area of the other triangle is also a half the base times the height. Because if that's B, then that's also a B. These 2 segments are equal in length and the heights are the same. And the lateral areas, well, if you take BEDC, BEDC, that's A times L. So it's the length times the width, and we won't worry about which one is the length and the width. It makes no difference. And if you take ACEF, ACDF, which is the bottom, so the bottom is a rectangle, so that's a length times the base. Length L, L length times width, or B times L, or L times B. And the back side, the back AFEB, this one is, that side is a C and the length is L, so that's an L times C as length times width. And the surface area, of a rectangular prism is the base area, total base area, and the lateral area. And the total base area is, there's 1 triangle, but we have 2 of them, because the 2 of them are the same. And we have add up the area of the sides is LA plus LB plus LC. And if you want to simplify that, go ahead. down. But what most students do, they find the area of 1/10 and then they just multiply it by 2 instead of putting it in the formula. And then they say the base area is double the two triangles. Now let's look at another geometric figure, and this one is a cylinder. It's called a right cylinder because the base of the cylinder is flat on the ground, and this is the height, this is the radius from the center of the circle, and the top one is identical to it, so that's a radius the same as the bottom. The two circles are congruent, they're the same radii, same areas, and this is the height, so this side here is the same, the height from perpendicular distance between the two bases. And to illustrate this, I have a diagram drawn, made up, and I constructed this, and here it is. Put the circle on the top. What we have is, if you look at it, and you can see it, I have a cylinder, but I made it a cut out piece of paper and made the cylinder to show you what the surface area of a cylinder is like. And I'll see if you can, I'll try to tilt it sideways here so you can see it. Let's see. I'll pick it up and, oh, there it be. It fell apart on me, but that's okay. I can put it together very quickly. No trouble. So what we have is a cylinder, and the cylinder has the base areas is one circle. The base area is the two circles that you see in the diagram. That's the bottom and that's the top. These are the two circles. And the side, that's the base area. The side is made up of what's left here. So what I did, I'm going to take this cylinder apart and take the tape off and let it float. So what I have now is that what it was like this, notice, what it was like this, I unfold it and I get this. So notice when I put it back, that's the top, which is pink. The top, pink, is the circumference of the circle, distance around that circle there. So if I unfold it, let's unfold it and lay it down. What I have, the pink is the circumference of the circle and the black is the height. So that's the height on both sides the same, and the circumference on the bottom is the same. So what we have is a rectangle, and the area of this rectangle is length times width. So that means it's the length is the circumference times the height, and the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r h. So let's look back at our main sheets. Here we go. Look back. So this right cylinder has the top is a circle and the bottom, top is a circle, the bottom is a circle. And the lateral face is a rectangle. So remember, I cut it down, and what we have, when I cut it, it came into a rectangle, like that. And that was the circumference, and that was the height. So the area of this rectangle, as you can see, is the length times width. So let's discuss that down here. The circle top is pi r squared. The bottom is a pi r squared. And the rectangle, which is length times width, is the circumference, is the distance around the top times the height. And the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r times the h. So the lateral area of a cylinder is the circumference. You get, by understanding how it's done, then it makes it easier to memorize. It's the circumference times the height, which is 2 pi r h. And the surface area of a cylinder is the base area and the lateral area added together. And the base area is 2 circles, 2 pi RH, and 2 pi r squared for the bases, because there's 2 circles, and the lateral area is 2 pi RH. And that's the formula that I have memorized, but knowing I can see the 2 areas of the top and bottom 2 circles, that's easy. But the lateral area and demo, because I cut it down, and because it formed a rectangle, then I know it's the circumference times the height, and that helps me remember the lateral area of a cylinder, 2 pi RH. And I learned that many, many, many years ago, and I kept it in my head because I watched the demo of cutting the cylinder down and unfolding it to form the rectangle. Now, if you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, you can click the subscribe button and the notification bell, because there's more videos coming. Write a comment on my video if you're a subscriber. And visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com. You'll find information about me, my videos, the strategy I'm going to use to help you learn your math, and the section on content has the topics that I have online right now, and also there will be topics that I will be adding. Thank you very much for listening or viewing my video. Bye-bye.